Alright guys, I just want to clarify one thing. She is not a show bike. She is a fun bike. Alright, let's go. Alright guys, so got this really cool Schwinn here that someone decided they didn't like yellow. I am gonna try to save the original paint because I don't want to repaint it. I don't want to deal with the repaint. I don't want to deal with the prep work. But I'm gonna try and save the paint. Also, 20 and a 16. I thought that was wrong, but actually the way they come. So, let's go ahead and start with taking her apart, finding out the year, and seeing if I could save the original paint. I really don't want to repaint this bike, guys. I really don't. Never know. Okay guys, as you know, or you should know, I have a few other bikes that need paint. So another paint project was not something I was looking for. So I really wanted to see how much of this original yellow paint I could save. And let's just go on and we'll see what happens. So this just crumbled, completely crumbled. And that does not look promising. Really wanted to save these. So the pads were actually one of the main focal points I thought of the bike, so I really did want to save them. You see me try to take off the bars, but I decided to leave it because I don't want to break that one either. I don't find the right size for that, and it's just, I had a little bit of regret right here of trying to take this bike apart, because right there you just see the socket just completely fall off, and the nut was completely rounded. This is why I wanted to sell it as is. That bolt is completely rounded out. The handlebars are welded. You do want to put any grease on that though. Let's try one more. You know, I'm all about that grease. I brought out the vice grips, and those just, you can see it right now. I won't spoil it for you guys. And those actually cracked the bolts open. So it was churning, which was a positive thing. I did end up having to hit it with the hammer. Unfortunately, I cut that part off. I don't know why, but it came off. And with little issues on that part. And then I like using the proper size tools for stuff like this, because these big bolts strip very easily when you use channel locks or pipe wrenches or anything like that. So using the proper size is something that I like to do. And you can see right here, I really like using the breaker bar. I don't know, I just like using it because I know which way it's going to turn, whichever way I turn it. And then here you see me just try to hammer out that front tire. And of course, you know, when all else fails, hit it harder. If that doesn't work, get a hammer. And it falls out thoroughly. And then the forks, of course, are coming out. and dry, just no grease at all. But it's probably been sitting for 20-30 years. And that rear wheel is a Schwinn S7 with a Bendix 70 hub. And I did want to keep the wheel, but unfortunately I didn't have a front one that would go with it. Like, I didn't have a chrome 20-inch that would kind of give me the same look as the rear, and I didn't want to do a mismatch. I don't mind doing mismatch, but at least if they have the same vibe. I had nothing to replicate the vibe of this back wheel, and I could have waited and found myself a S7 front. But once again, you guys know I'm not a patient person, and I build with what I got, and I make do with what I have. So fortunately, that I had to make a decision of not using that rear wheel, which you see me take off there. You see the coaster arm with the Bendix 70. There it goes. That actually cleaned out really good too. I took some paint thinner on it, or paint stripper, and the chrome was very, very decent. Here you see me putting the screw down on the coaster brake because I lose everything. So I figured out, let me put it where it goes, that way I won't lose it. And then the C collar was really, really on there, but it finally came off.
All right. So bare frame. I'm gonna try a couple things to take off the paint. Hopefully not damaging the original paint, the Schwinn emblem. But first, let's find out what year it is. Let's find out what year it is. Oh, where's the? Huh. Nope. Everyone said it would have a year code right here. I don't see it. We'll look for the year code later. Right now, let's see if I can find something to take off. So I'm taking acetone and a baby wipe, and it seems to be getting rid of some of it. But there you go. Might be asking too much. That doesn't get rid of the black though.
The maroon, I think, is house paint, so that one was coming off easier. The black was spray paint, which gave me a little bit more hard time. But you can see, like, nail polish remover and the baby wipe, it's working. It works.
So the acetoner and baby wipes were working, but they were kind of taking long. I'm not a patient person, so I hit it with easy off. Be careful with the easy off. Easy off, I've seen strip car paint when I was doing engine base. So very careful with easy off. It should work. A little bit more drastic than what I want to do, but patience is not something that I thrive in. So see if it doesn't bite me in the butt. This is after a couple of shots with easy off. It's a big difference. You can see it's like almost coming off with my finger here. Still got a lot to do, but so far easy off has been working. Like I said, guys, I've seen easy off take off fucking car paint. So if you're going to use the easy off, be careful that you don't take off the original paint. That's what we're trying not to do. Okay, so I was gonna add the chrome forks, a freewheel, and brakes, handbrakes, but something came up on off-road that changed the whole way. That guy right there became a donor bike. That's a Schwinn Fierce that I bought for $8. Already taken apart. Has coaster brake 20-inch wheels. I was gonna use the fork, but it ends up being blue, not black. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the chrome, because I don't think the chrome went with it, to be honest with you. I don't think the chrome fit this vibe. Another thing I did was, instead of just cleaning this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it with this chrome one. Very similar style, very similar vibe. So I'm gonna replace it with this one and save this one for another build. Let's go ahead and get that grease started then.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of feeling the chrome forks, but I decided to go with the original forks just because it gave me that 70s style more, like that, you know, straight MT BMX like motorcycle vibe that they had back in the day. So that's why I decided to go with the black forks instead of the chrome forks. And I was gonna go with aluminum wheels with the freewheel. That's why you see the brake caliper in the back. So I completely switched up the style when I found the set of wheel. I'm sorry, when I found the donor bike and the wheel set that came on it, because hey, I was able to do the coaster. They were black, so they gave me that look I was going for. And did you see that spin? Did you see that spin? Let me see if I spin it again. Couldn't find the right tool that time, so I said screw it. There it goes. Get one more spin? Nope, I guess that's it.
Since I'm not going to use the freewheel, go ahead and take this off.
This is I modified the brake bridge to be a caliper bridge.
It was something I made to turn the fender bridge into a brake bridge.
There you go, fender bridge to a brake bridge. Just kind of happy about that. That little contraption took me a couple hours, and didn't end up using it.
I was gonna get a new bolt, but I figured screw it. Send it as is.
I still might change that bolt. I don't know, to be honest with you guys. I've gone on light rides and the handlebars seem to be holding up good, so I don't see a point of changing it, but I might do it just to be on the safe side. That way the next guy that gets it doesn't get all bent out to shape, that the bolt's all rounded off like I was. And here you see me trying to get it in again.
So I'm gonna have to grind down the axles a bit, or get new skinnier axles. Not sure yet.
So I don't know if you heard me, but the older ones had a different skinnier axle in the front. So I'm either gonna have to grind down the axle in the front, or get a skinnier axle that fits those particular forks. Most likely I'm gonna grind down the axle just because it's easier. It's more cost efficient than having to look for another axle. So far that's the way I'm leaning towards. You know, half the time I get bored and my ADD or my HDDD or my ADD or whatever you want to call it, that kicks in, and I end up doing something completely different than I planned. So I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing with that at the end. I might just leave them. Say screw it. I got the wheel in. I'll deal with it later, or let the next guy deal with it. I'm not 100% sure yet. And here you see me cleaning up. So real quick, guys, this bearing set was in my parts bin for a while. So the bearings were already cleaned when I put them away. That's why I don't do like a complete cleaning with chemicals and stuff. So I just do a quick wipe down to get rid of whatever dust and is collected from my garage. So that's why it's just a quick cleaning of that. And you know, grease. You guys know I like my grease. Check your grease. No matter what you're riding, check your grease, guys, because it makes it makes a big difference. And you see me do the bottom bracket and the crank. Not gonna lie, part of me did want chrome wheels. Like, I feel like the chrome wheels would have matched that chrome crank, but you know, that's not what came on the donor bike, so that's not what I use. And I didn't have time to look for the proper S6 S7 front wheel. So one thing I do want to do is I do want to get that kickstand, because I feel like Schwinn has such a unique and iconic kickstand that you kind of need it. Like, it just completes the build for me. Obviously you don't need it, but I feel like for these particular builds, like, you should have a kickstand, and I am looking into it, see how much they go for. And you know, I called up a couple of Schwinn friends. Hopefully they have one. Some of the people said that they'll get back to me, so I'm hoping on that. And then the pedals, just went with the stock pedals that came with the bike. Nothing fancy, nothing outrageous, but really went with the vibe that they had back then. You know, once again, like, I could have gone with modern pedals and just thrown off the complete build, but I felt like I wanted to keep the look of the 70s and 80s on this one, and those pedals seem to do the trick, even though they're completely... I probably should have got some new pedals, but whatever. Those will work. These will work. You can see my rear tire right there is completely bald. Whoever had that other Schwinn was completely terrorizing his coaster wheel. And just so you know, both tires are like that. So after he was done with one, they switched over tires, and then he completely did it to the other tire. So good for good for the kid who had it and just terrorized it. And you see me use the channel lock.
Alright guys, real quick, when it comes to... Lord, this is a bit extra. When it comes to these, whatever you do not grind down the forks. It is the easiest way to make it fit, just grinding these down. But I'd rather mess up an axle than mess up the forks. And then I completely forgot that the seat I have, let me get you in focus. I completely forgot that I have to reupholsterize the seat. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. I'm gonna have to reupholster the seat, take care of the axle, and find the chain. Alright, I guess we're doing 3 days. Stay tuned for the next. Alright guys, I just want to clarify one thing. She is not a show bike. She is a fun bike, alright? Let's go ahead and run through her. Did a couple things off camera. Still a couple more things to go, but for the most part, we're gonna call her done. It's a fun bike. It is a fun bike. We got a 80s, probably early 80s, late 70s Schwinn frame, chrome cranks. Don't move. Old school style pedals, Schwinn sprocket, KMC chain, newer style Schwinn wheels that I got from the donor bike. I really did want to keep the S7s, but once again, I didn't have the set, so had to go. And that rear wheel almost paid for this whole build. Almost. Black no-name coaster hub. I would like to put the seat higher up, but because of the rails, I really can't. So this is going to be where it stays. I was going to go sissy bar also, but I really like the vibe. It gives it more of a motorcycle vibe when it doesn't have the sissy. So that's why I didn't put a sissy bar on it. I did reupholster the seats. Came out pretty good. Didn't come out great, but it came out pretty good. Obviously Schwinn seats, Schwinn seat posts, Schwinn here, Schwinn there, Schwinn everywhere. I did keep a lot of the original parts, which was what I wanted to do. The motorcycle bars, those stayed. Obviously the original pad stayed. I did want to keep the pad for the stem or for the neck, but I couldn't. You saw it just crumble when I took it off. Does have the Schwinn badge with the Chicago style Schwinn badge with the 2 little screws. I was also going to change the forks and put some regular BMX forks, but I like that it gave me that late 70s, early 80s vibe, so I kept that as well. Bike was 20 bucks. Bike was 20 bucks. Donor Schwinn was $7. Parts for the upholstery were $30. So that's 57, let's call it $60 even. I sold the real.
All right, bro.
Okay. Where was I? All right, $60 build. So the rear wheel for 50 bucks. As much as I would have liked to kept the wheel, found the S7. She's back on the road. She's riding, and she's fun. Is she finished? No. But I'll finish her off camera because all she really needs is tires. So I'll switch out the tires, and then she's done. She's done. Should we go for a ride? We should go for a ride.